Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon. Welcome to the session. So this is the first session for a third week, right? So generally, as you all know, we discuss the activity and practice question in week 3. We will do that, but I guess let's try to finish what we left incomplete in the last weeks, right? So in the Friday session that we had, the Solve with Instructor 1 at 2 p.m., we wanted to create a static web page, which was mostly done. Okay, so we were able to create the HTML pages, and I gave some idea about how to, start off with styling. Today we will be giving the actual styling to those pages, right? So you might get come across some new attributes and all, and definitely CSS is not. So I will not be covering the entire CSS, right? So nobody can do that in one session or even in a very long period of time. And after some point, you might also not require somebody telling you how to do it, right? So the thing is, we will have this session to add some styling so that we understand, okay, these are the things that we generally do, and then you can then go ahead and search for your uh, your will, like it's your will. You can go to the internet and go to the level of attributes which you feel, okay, this should be the level of CSS I must know, right? So there is no certain limit for anybody, but there has to be some basic that we need to know. That's it. So that is what we are going to do in this session, and then if the time permits, we'll take some activity and practice questions for week 3, right? Because the content is out, so I guess you may have watched the videos for that also, and started attempting questions for the activity and practice, right? So that is something we will do if the time permits. I'm sure it might, because we don't have to do a lot of designing, some basics, right? uh, and all right, so let's see.
And sir, like also if you can discuss something about that lab 3 assignment, okay? So some of the clarifications probably like
Fine, fine.
I need some of the questions to be answered. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sure. So I will also try to answer some
Sir, I
questions.
have a quick
So one more
clarification
thing in
about
that
the
only,
lab
sir.
3 assignments.
We are getting
Okay, okay.
97 point some
Huh.
percentage like that. We
Okay.
can know what mistake we have done.
Correct, correct. So yeah, so see, the thing is, we are working on the report that we talked about, right, in the discourse. So I'm not sure if you saw that thread, but what we are going to do is after the deadline of every week lab assignment, what we give is we give the report of what went wrong and what was expected. Okay, and definitely that report will be in compliance with the problem statement, right? So it is not that, okay, this was not mentioned, you won't come across things like that. Okay, so that report will exactly give you the point where you lost your marks. Okay, so this is for
Okay, sir.
everyone who lost so many marks and who lost, let's say, 1 or 2 marks, so that you will get the complete idea. Okay, so the report is taking time because so there are so many submissions with every run. The count of students increase, right? So the post processing, it takes time, and we need to take the scores. Also sampling has to be done so that we know that, okay, whatever is being shown to you is correct. Okay, so that is taking time, and then hopefully we'll be able to give a report on week 2 lab assignment soon. Okay, so you don't have to worry. Yeah, but this outcome of week 2 lab assignment, you will have the understanding, okay, this is there are only, so the public test case is not only that we have to look at. Okay, uh, there are some other test cases also which will be tested internally, and then and they will definitely be taken, or they tested with the problem statement, right? So that is something you have to understand with this mismatch you are seeing in the result, right? Okay, this was one doubt. Anything else?
Yes, sir. Like, is there a way? Say, for example, when we write Python code, okay, so there we can write unit test cases, right? Is
Hmm.
there a way like can we test write those kind of unit test for HTML documents as well, HTML or CSS?
See, actually, there is things like HTML parsing, right? You need to look at some of the libraries in Python that parses HTML for you. Okay, but then how will you define the test cases exactly same as the one we have?
No, say for example, now you have given this many h1 tag, this many h5 tag. Okay, that way you have given some guideline. Okay, so if I tell the take the problem statement and thoroughly test that, okay, and then if something fails other than that, right, that was probably not explicit in the problem statement, or maybe not understood.
Okay. Okay, got it. Yeah, so for CSS, I'm not really sure, but for HTML, we have something called as Beautiful Soap. Okay, so this is an HTML parser in Python, right? So it will give you an idea. I mean, it parses your HTML document and gives the tags and all whatever is there. So you have to go through the documentation of that library.
Yeah, so in that, like, you at least you can find out, okay, how many h1 tags are there, how many tds are there, like
Correct,
that.
correct,
Yes,
correct.
yes,
So
yes.
that you don't put anything extra or miss something.
Okay, and then, like, probably like writing the similar unit test cases in Python and run that over this HTML file.
Correct.
Okay, understood.
So regarding weekly level assignment, we have to create three separate templates, right? In same file.
See, as far as I know, you don't have to create any template. You have to create, I mean, the output, your file should be able to do that. You don't have to submit 3 templates.
Yeah, so basically, like,
So
the
my
way I have
approach was
written is
like,
only one Python file.
sir, my approach was like, I first wrote the Python code for finding the maximum mark and total marks and everything. And then I wrote three templates and I wrote an equals condition for each template. So this was my approach. So is there anything wrong?
So are you planning to submit some templates within the submission?
No, sir. Only one file app.py which will execute, which will get the command line arguments and will execute whatever.
So I'll give you the brief overview of what you have to do. In the lab assignment week 3, what will happen is there is some data set in the background. Okay, a sample data set must be given to you. So based on that, and see, this is a data set and we're calling it a sample data.csv, I guess. So we're calling it sample so that you can test whether your code is giving correct answers or not. It's not the one that you have to, hard code it, right? So we have previously seen that students have considered the data set given as the only data set that we'll be testing on. They thought that way and then they hard coded the Python, right? So that should not be done. You should be, so basically this is to take inputs from command line, process those inputs, and process your data with the help of those inputs, gather some data, and then create templates with the data filled, right? So once we run your application, your application should be able to do that by itself. You don't have to create any HTML file or templates and submit.
Correct.
Yes,
So,
sir, sir.
sir,
Yes, sir. No,
is
sir. I've not done anything like that. It's just the way that you described. So the
Hmm.
same app.py file, I've written three template file, three if else conditions for three templates, and I've not considered any static data. Like that.
So the content of Python file you can decide, right?
so, so, sir, this data.csv, that file name is is constant, right? That we can hard code.
Data.csv file name is constant. uh
That can
I
be hard
guess
coded, right? Because you are not passing that as a parameter as well.
that is not being passed as a parameter, but I'm not really sure with that.
Yeah,
So
I think like in the
let me come
PDF.
back with that. Okay, yeah, you can assume that, but still I'm not really sure, so I don't want to comment on that. Okay.
Okay.
uh, yeah, so how is it being taken? I just have to get refresh with the question statement. That's why I gave the superficial idea. I don't want to go into the very details of that. Okay. Things related to that can be questioned or asked on the discourse. And your doubt I have kept in mind. Okay. Whether the data.csv or whatever it is it has it to be hard coded or not? So I'll reply to that on discourse. Okay.
Yeah, and sir, like these we can use pandas, right?
Yeah, anything.
Okay, and only one Python file, that is app.py, which can generate any of these result.html.
Yeah. So based on what we are giving inputs,
Argument.
it should, arguments, it should be able to generate the HTML file there and then.
Yeah, and another thing is, like, you are giving some kind of a argument -c or -s. Okay, say for example, if you, and that too all in small, like, do we need to handle like a -C as a valid argument, or -C is a wrong argument?
-C would be a wrong argument.
Wrong argument. Perfect. Okay, because I have already written the
Sir,
code.
I have
like,
already hard coded. Yes, sir. I've written the code according to -C, sir. So what should do now?
Yeah.
So what
don't want to
-C, capital or small?
small.
Yeah. So see,
Small,
the thing
sir.
is, so
Minus.
anything apart from -C and -S, it should take as invalid.
Right. Understood.
Yes, sir. That's the
Also,
code I've written.
also we should not be. I mean, see, you gave me a code, right? I should not be able to manipulate it. For example, I should not get a course data with the help of student data. I mean, with -S, what -S represents we are talking about a student. And if the same thing is allowing me -S, and then same thing is allowing me to get the data from course, that is not required. I mean, that should not happen. Your code should not allow that.
Correct. And sir, last thing, like, say for example, when you are sending me codes like -c argument, okay, so that time, like, we need to add a image, like in the bottom, right? So we can create a temporary image file and then include that as a image tag, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Because I was
because
thinking.
yeah, so see, you cannot have a already stored image, right? Because it depends on
No,
what is the
like,
input.
yeah, what I was thinking, like, is there a way without even creating that image file in the runtime, we can
Okay.
still embed that matplotlib code inside the Jinja 2 template?
Acha, you want to okay. See, but the thing is, Matplotlib is not HTML code, right? Jinja 2 will
Right.
not understand that.
Yeah. So, like, currently, like, finally I had to do that. Like, I created the PNG file, and then I included that in the div tag.
Yeah. So
Okay, like, as the image tag.
there is certain level of what we can say, certain level of manipulations that can be done through Jinja, but I guess I mean, we don't want you to go through that much details of Jinja because Python is sufficiently able to do that, right?
Yes, understood.
Yeah, so we will go into like, I mean, how manipulations Jinja can be done, or how can we use Jinja to manipulate, because every time it will not be Python for the backend language and all, right? So there will be some extent of Jinja of Jinja that can be given, which we have planned in the coming, solve with instructor session also.
Okay.
But yeah, to be able to plot images and stuff with Jinja looks pretty tough to me. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
not required as far as app dev is concerned.
yeah, this lab assignment at least gave some, like, a fairly good understanding of, like, that using for and if conditions in the Jinja template.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and to concrete that, we will be using we will be having this live solve with instructor session, right? So there are other things also within Jinja that you might come in handy with, not probably not in this course or not throughout this course, but somewhere when you create the application, right?
Okay.
So yeah, so that is the idea for next solve with instructor session.
Okay, sir.
So for the next solve, we have a brief overview.
Sorry, I was unable to hear you.
solve the session, we'll have a brief
Next solve with instructor session, is it? Are you talking about that?
Yes, sir.
What about it?
We will have
Your voice is breaking. Sorry, Sashi. Can you type it on chat? I'll try to reply there. Your voice is breaking a lot, so I'm unable to figure out what you're saying, right? So if it is possible, you can type it on chat and then probably I'll answer there. Sure, yeah. So you will get to know more functionalities of Jinja, right? So we will be going through some of the documentation, not all, but some of it, all right? And some important stuff, right? Is the course wiki available to you? Is not? Okay, fine. So the thing is, we will go into some functionalities. For example, you may have seen this blocking, right? Blocks in Jinja. So there are 3 different types of blocks which are used to simply print, and then some for commenting and some for adding some conditional statement, a code block, right? So that code block, what should be the code that you can write? What else can be done with Jinja? That we'll try to cover a bit. Okay. And yeah, any issues with last date of a lab assignment? I'm seeing some questions on the chat.
Yeah, so actually, I was looking for the last date under course and I didn't find any, so I missed the due date. And now they have helped me to check, like asked me to check under scores, and there the last day is present. So yeah, it does not
Okay.
show under course. So yeah.
Okay, but see, but the way where you submit your assignment, there is the last date.
No, there is not the last day isn't present in under course. Actually, I tried looking for it.
No. So where you submit, wherever the portal where you submit your assignment, there you will have the last date for assignment. And in any case, the the last date for that particular lab assignment will be same as the last date for graded assignment questions.
Okay, got it.
Right. So I guess you have missed the last date for week 2.
Yes, I did.
Okay, no issues. You have five or 6 more assignments to do, right? So, but see, I recommend you to directly not jump on week 3. You do the week 2 assignment, complete it, okay, and then jump on week 3, because because these weeks, like week 3, 4, 5, 6, are progressive. So what we give here, I mean, is a build up, right? So it is built up on every assignment ahead is built up on the previous one, okay, but with some modification or some changes. That's it, right?
Right. So I need to do the week 2 first, and only then I'll be able to understand week 3 assignments, right?
Yeah.
And sir, another thing, like say for example, when we are doing this lab 3 assignment, okay. So you're we need to write I have written quite a lot of helper functions, okay. So is it possible I can move them to another Python file, and so that that main app.py is kept very neat, easy to understand.
Yeah, so I guess that will do when we'll go with the backend, right? So currently it is not required.
Okay,
And
okay.
I would suggest you to keep one Python file, because see, there are some restrictions with the backend also, where we check your files. Okay, so that is, a lot of it is automated, so I don't want unnecessary confusions there.
Okay,
Okay, so it
because
would be better.
I found the readability is kind of lost in that main method.
Yeah, understood. I get your point, but see, that also will be done later.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so currently we are only working with one small application, right? So creating so many files for a small application is also not a right idea.
Okay.
Yeah, so you see, if you see, these are like graded, right? In the real practice, it depends on you what you feel comfortable, right? But since it is graded, and if you want to do something for good and you end up getting, losing marks, is something that we are not, wanting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is.
So while submitting, we need to submit only that app.py, not even the data.csv.
Yeah. You have to zip only app.py.
Okay.
Yeah, so the data.csv is only for your understanding. I mean, your testing of code, whether you're getting the correct answers or not.
Correct.
Okay, the data that we check on may or may not be same. Okay, so we do it on multiple data sets.
Yeah. And sir, in this lab assignment, you have not given any like number of tags and stuff like that. So we can use anything, right?
This is
Because
not. Yeah, so this assignment is, I guess, see, along with the lab assignment, the HTML that is to be used is also given.
HTML is also given.
Yeah. I mean, whatever content that is coming in the front end is given.
Yes. Front end that is given. But say for example, like I use say for example 3 divs. Okay. Now it can also possible like you don't use those divs, right? Still you can do that.
Yeah. But okay, just give me a minute. Let me go to.
Next session, I can't see in the calendar.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so for this lab assignment, say for example, one div like that is the heading, second div is the table, and third div I kept for plotting. Okay, so like that way you will not go and check like in your test cases internally you are not going to check like how many divs are there, right?
Just give me a minute. So as far as, okay, so we will mostly be concerned with the Python file, because we are asking you to submit the app.py, right? So that will be only checked. Okay. And so for example, let's say you may have seen the student ID and student details, right? So there is a page called as student details. What we expect is what the minimum things that are required to render student details are expected. So that will be checked.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And yeah, so the data.csv should be the name. Okay, just confirm.
Yes, that is written in the PDF file actually.
Yeah, correct. So I'm referring to the same PDF, right? So you have to give data.csv as the name.
Yes.
Okay. So it doesn't matter what data is there in the backend. If it is named data.csv, it will be retrieved.
Yeah, actually, like if you see the data.csv, the one that you have provided along with that, right? In that, if you see the course ID, okay, that label, that heading, right?
Yeah.
There is a blank space, then course ID, blank space,
Correct.
then marks, but not that for the student ID. So whenever you are using, because I had to use that way, otherwise like whenever I am taking that is in a dictionary, I cannot search, right? So whenever you will use your data.csv, there also like you need to use the same header.
Correct.
Yeah, because those are my keys, and other than those keys,
so see, this data.csv is also an indication of what type of table are we going to have. I mean the header, number of columns, and things like that for you to access. Rows can vary.
Rows can vary, yes, rows can vary, but the header name should be exactly same.
Yeah, that's what. What you put as an HTML depends on you. Okay, but if it is given, for example, see, there is a point in the problem statement where it says the table should be titled as student details and should have column header, student ID, course ID, and marks. So whatever is given in the problem statement, that will be accepted.
Right.
Okay,
So
I'm not
whenever you are
presenting
giving this,
anything, by the way. It's
yeah,
just I'm referring to the problem statement.
yes, whenever you are giving the switch minus s, that time those will be the column names.
Yeah. Yeah. So specific to what we are giving as an argument, the data, I mean, the table, how it should look, what it should contain will be given as a point in problem statement.
Correct.
Yeah. So Sashi, yeah. So data.csv has to be hard coded, right? So don't have to worry about it. Yeah, in week 3 assignment, right? So it will be same. Okay. So I'll change the date accordingly. Yeah. Okay.
So when is the next session? I mean, this week there are no more sessions in the calendar.
This week, I don't think we have session, right? It will be directly on the next week. Okay, so this will be the only session of this week. And the next session that will be on next Wednesday, I guess. Okay, but we won't skip the content, right? So we will, for example, next week would be 4th week, right? But we will still go with week 3 content regarding solve with instructor questions and all, so that we don't miss anything and we move along that. So we have managed the sessions accordingly, and if there is a requirement of an extra session, we will have that also.
So that
Okay,
means
so
you are saying this Saturday there will be no session, right?
no, so all the sessions are suspended for this weekend.
Oh, okay, because of that campus visit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the content will be postponed to another sessions, and for example, if you are missing one of the sessions, we need one more session on that, some details, intricacies, we will have that. So depending on requirement.
But the deadline will be on Sunday, right?
Okay, so I don't actually remember the dates, but the deadline, so it will be, the deadline would be the graded, right? So currently I see that the graded deadline has been extended. I need to confirm with the team. Okay.
Next week
And
Wednesday.
yeah, so if whatever comes as the final deadline, it will be reflected on the portal. Okay. Currently you have to follow with whatever is given. Okay. So one deadline for week 3 currently is 25, I guess. So if it is to be extended to 29, because graded I questions, I see that the deadline has been extended to 29. So, okay, let me confirm that and it will be reflected on the portal. Okay, all right. Shall we move ahead then with the previous session?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So I will share my screen and let's go back to, give me a minute. Yeah, so I hope my screen is visible here. Replit. I'm showing
Yes.
Replit, right? Yeah, so this is where we left in the last session, right? I have some extra things added here, just to, that was for the explanation, diverted from the topic, but I'll remove it so that we have the same thing. We follow the the question statement as it is. So this thing like index.html4, I mean index4.html, which I showed, this is not required, right? This is just to show you that the star operator that I was showing in CSS. So I'll delete this. All right. With that, I don't need its link also. I'll remove its link if it is there in any of the pages. I guess it is, yeah, here it is. So I'll remove this. Okay. And I guess I had added some classes also with my name. That was not required. It is required. We'll add some classes later, but with proper name. In fact, this paragraph was not required. Okay, so now if I run this, let's see if there is anything extra. All right, so this HR, I mean, this horizontal line that you see here is coming due to the HR tag that we put in after the first if. That is also not. Okay, so I guess now we have same set of pages with uniform information. Let me open it in different tab. So yeah, so we are creating this page on courses, programming courses, AppDev 1 being or modern application being 1 being the first one. Then we have AppDev 2 and then DBML. Let me go if you are properly linking to other pages. Okay, yeah, from here to here. Correct. So yeah, this is the static content, right? Nothing is being changed because this is simply served HTML, right? So anybody, any doubt till here? These 3 HTML pages that we created.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So what we'll do is, no, since we want this all these 3 pages to have same styling because we want them to look uniform, we'll create one CSS, I mean style.css file and link it with all the others. All right. So I guess it is linked here. Let me see if it is linked to other page. This is image. Okay. Yeah. So it is linked here also, and it is linked here also. So whatever change we do will be reflected on all the 3 pages. Okay, so the thing is, my way of CSS, I mean adding styling, is what I do is I go with the front end. I mean I see the page here and I go to the developer tool. Have you gone through the screencast on developer tools yet?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Right, you've gone through, right? So you know the idea of what developer tools can do, right? So this
Right,
gives
right.
you idea of what your HTML page is statically showing and what is happening dynamically with this other tabs, right? But we are not using any dynamic, so we don't need these tabs for now. We might need, I mean, we can go to this networks and sources, but still they will not be of any use currently. But okay, so why are we using this developer tools? Just to get the idea of what is the HTML, and then based on that we will add CSS, because this is pretty easy. Why? Because whatever styles I add here will be directly reflected in front of me and I'll be able to see without even reloading them. Okay, so whatever so I'll do that, and same thing I'll put it in the my style.css. Okay, because the changes that I do here are temporary, right? So if you reload the page, those changes will go. Okay, for example, now I see this, the first here, let me zoom in a bit, I guess. Okay, what is being zoomed? Nothing is being zoomed. Okay, fine. I'm not sure. Okay. All right. So this first option here, right? This one will help me to understand, I mean, target any particular element. Okay, because if I don't have this selected, I will have to find this any particular element from the HTML here, right? But if I don't want to, so this is pretty simple, comparatively very simple pages, right? What if I have a big Google document, right? So in that case, it is having so many stylings at every point. So it becomes very tough to particularly target. How to do that? So you have to click here and target, right? This is how we target. Okay, so whatever I target, let's say I've selected this informational programming courses that came under within the div, it was a content of H1. So right, so whatever I selected, it shows me that okay, this is what you have selected, and the same thing appears here. I mean this element dot style, right? So whatever element is selected, this element dot style refers to that particular element, right? So for example, what are we talking about here? H1, right? So if I try to add a style here, that style will be applied to H1. Okay, so okay, so since this is div element, what we can do is we'll try to center this part. Okay, we'll try to center this part. Okay, so I'll just show one because there is other way that I'll be doing, right? So what I'll do is text align, okay, and then I do it center, right? So I did it center. What happened? Everything came in the center, to what? To that particular h1 element only, right? So the style got applied to that h1, right? This is how you style. Why? Because whatever you are styling here will be directly visible dynamically on your screen. Okay, so then you need to you don't need to switch between tabs and come back and see. Okay, so this is one thing. And now if you also see what will happen if I reload this page. Okay, let me reload the page. So what happened? If I reloaded the page, that style got disappeared, right? Whatever style was incorporated will go, because this is temporary. This is just for your reference, developer's reference. That is the reason we call it developer tool. All right. To make this change permanent, what we need to do? We need to simply go to the style and add it there. Okay. So I've removed all the stylings because this is I use for explaining the other stuff. This we don't want. What we want is we want to select that particular h1 and then make it center, right? So this is how you do it. I won't do it because let us do it with other way. So let me go back to that information page and close. So what I want to do is I don't want my entire the screen get covered with this data. I want this data to appear in a very small block. I hope some of you saw the what we say, the reference that I given in the last session, right? So what it was showing? It was showing a page in the center of the screen, and it was having some and the stylings were applied to that particular page. There was nothing on the left or right. So we're trying to do that because we want to make our page look like a book page, right? So since I want everything to appear at the center, it's better to select the body tag, right? So so based on what kind of styling, where you want to put the style, you select the element. Okay, so let us select the body tag and set some width to it. Okay, I won't be in most of the part of styling. I won't be adding styling here. I mean directly here and then seeing the changes. I'll be adding styling here and then copy pasting those style there, right? So let us open the developer tool again, and I want body. See, so if I click on body, everything from there gets selected, and it shows on the screen. Okay, your body refers to this part on the screen. Okay, and then this element dot style, it will also be it will also refer to that part. Okay, so what I want to do is first set some width. Okay, so let's say we have 700 pixel. Okay, so the 700 pixel, you don't have to bother about why 700 pixel only, depends on your screen. Okay, so if I close this, see the entire content came here, right, shifted towards the left. Okay, I want to make sure that okay, it is still less, and I can do that change there itself, right? So 700 pixel is a number that I came up with. Okay, what if I did not know the number, what to put? Let us try to do how to that also deal with that. So what you can do is you can simply select the 700 pixel. Okay, and then with the arrow key you can change the width. Okay, and if you see, as the width changes, the content is getting adjusted by itself, right? So this will help you to guide, this will help you to guide what should be the size of page, or in this particular case, because we are dealing with the width attribute of style, right? So this will give you the dynamic change that will happen based on whatever you are putting as style. Okay, so I guess 700 would be right. Okay, 700 would be right. If I can go even smaller, let's say let's go to 650, right? 650. Okay, so if I'm satisfied with this, what I'll do, I'll simply copy the style. It's not getting copied. Yeah, copy the style and put it in our style.css so as to make it permanent. Now what did we target? We targeted body. Since it is element, we don't need to give anything and simply write page. Okay, so styling will be applied to it. Okay, now if I run it, it will be a permanent style that will not go with the reloading of page. One more thing, since it is an HTML REPL, you don't need to keep clicking on run. Reload of the page will also do. If you see here, if I close this, if I had added some styling and if I simply reload the page, it will appear. You don't have to rerun the REPL every now and then. Okay, that will be the case in Python. If we have created any Python REPL and you want to see how the code behaves, then we'll keep on clicking on running. Otherwise, it is not required. In the HTML, it is simple reload of page. Okay, so I guess this is fine. Now what I'll do is okay, so I want this image to completely span throughout the thing. Now whatever width I gave, I could not see that width particularly, right? So what I'll do, I'll simply add some borders. Okay, initially I'll add borders so that we can change the styling later. Okay, now how will I do that? I'll do it here because it is pretty much visible. Okay, let's go to inspect, and I want to add borders to the individual parts, right? So if we go back to our page, we saw that there are three parts, right? The three divs, the header, body, and the footer, right? So I want individually that part to have border. Okay, if that is the case, what I'll have to do, and I'm not very selective here. I want div, doesn't matter what div it is, all the divs, right? So I simply have to select the div. Okay, let's go back to that page, and yeah, so div, right? See, if I put 5 pixel solid, it showed me a border, right? And then we can put some color, say red. Okay, and the border appeared. Okay, so this is not the styling that I want. I just wanted to show you that this is how you put border, right? And if you see that in the border attribute, I've added, okay, 5 pixel, then solid, then red. Let me show you something else now. Okay, so this I'll show from here, style.css. So what happens? I'll select div because it is an element. I will not need any suffix and stuff for that. I can, so these things, initially what did I put? I put the width of border, that is 2 pixel or 5 pixel. So I can say border width. Okay, border width, let's say 5 pixel. Okay, then comes border style. In our case, it was solid. And then border color. Right. Okay, it's not showing. Okay, if I am wrong with any attribute, it will not show up. Let's see. Yeah, so see, I've selected div and I see that the borders is appearing for all the three, right? So these are the three. Now I can, so we don't need this console and shell, right? So I'll just remove this. So the border is appearing for all the three divs, right? So here, if you see, this is wider. This is not wider actually. This is having two borders stuck. Now what I've done here, I've written individually this properties individually. First one stating border width, the other one stating I mean the style, how you want the border. And there you can have other style also. For example, dotted, right? And if I now reload this, see. So you have this border dotted, right? So there can be some other attributes you can use. I generally don't go with the dotted and stuff. So it is solid better. Okay, and then comes the border color. Now the thing is, this is very write heavy, right? You need to write all the three things together. What can be done? You can simply write this border equals to and write all this stuff in order. That is 5 pixel solid blue. Okay. And since I've done that in one line, I can comment this. Okay. Now if I reload this, it will take the same thing, right? So what happened here? I have used border shorthand property. This is called as shorthand property. So what is happening? Three different attributes clubbed together, right? And this cannot be done with each and every attribute, right? So there are some selected attributes, which is, so these three attributes, right? Width, style, and color apply on border. So you simply, instead of writing three different lines, you write one single line. This is how you use shorthand property. Okay. All right. Now the thing is, I want to explicitly see this border right here, something, because this is very broad here. I want to explicitly see that. Second thing I'm observing is my entire content is sticking to my border, right, on the left. It is sticking to my border on the left, which I don't want, right? So what I can do? This is where we talk about concept of box model. Okay. So now we'll come up with box model. So if I reload this page, the stylings written there will be applied here, because the stylings here were temporary. All right. So yeah, so this stylings applied here. Okay. And the thing that we saw and did not like is our content getting stuck with the border here on the left. Okay. So what happens is, let me go back to inspect. Okay. And then let me go back to body and select one of the divs. Okay. Now if I select one of the divs and if I go down, you see this box. Is this box visible, by the way?
Yes, sir.
I mean the, okay, somebody text. Okay, it's visible, right? All right. So this box represents the box model of your element div. Okay. What does it say now? If you see the blue content, if I go into the center, something in the blue, whatever is blue gets highlighted. What does this mean? In your div element, this blue is where you put the content. Okay. Content, actual content of the div. So if I open and the div and see, right, there are two h tags, h1 and h2. Okay. So this is the content of that div, right? And it becomes, you know, that box model applies for each and every element. So each and every element will have its own content. In our case, our div has this content, right? So this blue part. Okay. Then comes padding. If you see here, there is dash, right? There is, you see dashes, right? What does that mean? There is no padding. And if there was padding, see, since this blue color got highlighted with blue, if there was some padding, that would have got highlighted from green color. But since there is no padding, which is also evident that with the help of this dash and with the what we are seeing on the screen, if I click, put my cursor on padding, nothing is shown on my screen on that particular element, right? It shows that there is no padding. Okay. Now, what is this padding? This padding is the space between your content and the border. Space between your content and the border. This is and we are having our padding 0, right? So this is the reason why my content, whatever is written, is sticking with the border, because my padding is 0. Okay. Then comes the border. Pretty simple. Border, whatever is the border will be highlighted. And since we have given 5 pixel solid blue, 5 pixel border appears on all the sides, right? Then comes the margin. How far you want to keep individual element from the others. Okay. So this is currently in margin also I see that there is dash. This means that there is no margin between two individual elements, which is clearly evident from this first div and second div. Why? Because we don't see any gap between them. What we will do is we'll add some gap. Okay. So and to do that, to see how is it is like happening or not, what we'll do, we'll simply do it on the developer tool itself. So that is pretty evident. So what I'll do is I'll add padding first. Padding. Okay, this is called as padding. Padding is the space between your actual content and the border. Okay, I don't know how much padding to add. Let's start with 2 pixel. See, if I add 2 pixel padding, something happened, but it was still not visible. So I will increase. So if I'm increasing, you can see that the space between the border and the content is starting to appear, right? Currently it is at 13 pixel, which looks quite large. So I'll go with 10 pixel. Okay, this is sufficient enough to show that, okay, this is okay, there is some space between your border and the content. Right now, with padding given, let me go to the box model. Right, if the box model shows that, yeah, there is a padding, and now it is being shown on the screen, I mean with that element also in green color. Right, so this is very helpful in arranging your content in a particular element and arranging that particular element among the group of elements. Right, this is very helpful in organizing your content. Right, so I've given proper padding, which gives, yeah, correct space on some left and right, and then makes it look better. One more thing, margin. Right, so I also want this, this two rectangles to appear differently. So I'll go back to the style and add margin. Okay, start with 1 pixel. Okay, as soon as I put 1 pixel, you can see that there is white line appearing between, right? We can increase this and see that, okay, some margin is getting appeared, right? And that is being shown by this box model also, the 7 pixel, right? If you see there, it will also be 7 pixel. We'll put this to 10. Okay, now whatever style I've put here is temporary. As soon as I reload the page, it would go, right? So it will be very good to copy these things and put it there. Okay, and I want it, yeah, so I want it for the complete div, all the 3 divs. Okay, this is not required. Let's remove that. Okay, so there is a padding of 10 pixel and margin of 10 pixel. If I reload this, I'll see those things happening here. Correct. Now the thing is, you see that even if I've added a margin of 10 pixel, I see some extra margin on the left, right? Which I do not see on the top, right? That extra margin on the left is happening because div is not the first element there, right? We have some other element as the parent element of div, and maybe some margin is getting applied to that parent element. Okay, so let me see that. For example, if you go to body, okay, and if you see here in the body, what it says, display block margin 8 pixel. Okay, display block margin 8 pixel. Forget about display block for now, but see, it shows that there is margin of 8 pixel. Now if I want to remove this margin of 8 pixel, because I want to give my own defined margins, right? What I can do is I can simply go to my style and initiate my margins, right? Initiate. So what I'll do, initiate as in I'll select all the elements, doesn't matter what it is, and put margin as 0 pixel. What it will do, it will remove all those predefined margins which are coming by HTML by itself. Okay, if I reload this, let's see what happens. Yeah, so you see that the content is now regular on all the sites. Okay, why is this happening? Because I have removed the margins which I didn't know, and that is the importance of star operator, right? So I did not have to go through the entire HTML document and search which element was giving me that 8 pixel. I could go through that 8 pixel in div because I knew that was the case. Okay, but if somebody doesn't know what was the element that was adding 8 pixel, what we could do, we could simply set some initials. For example, even if you write the Python code, what we do is we initialize some variables and set them to 0, because that is the point where we want to start our computations from. Okay, set an element to 0, let us add some values to them later, but while initiating we do it 0. So that is what I've done. I've initiated my file with margin 0 pixel, and then later on I added this 10 pixel margin. What that particular thing did, it gave me an uniform margin on all the elements from all the sites, right? But the thing is, now if I see in my main page, I close this and let us reload this. Yeah, So if I reload this, so don't worry about this thing, this gap here. This is because of the image, right? I'll show you what is happening. But the thing is, I want this entire content to appear in the center. Okay. I want this entire content to appear in the center. So what I'll do, I'll simply increase the margin, right? But the problem is, let me show you the problem. Currently, my entire data is sticking to the left. I want this margin to increase so that my data comes towards the right. Okay, what I'll do, okay, let us go to style. And what did I do? I added margins to the div, right? So I will select the div and I'll try to increase the margin of that. So let us go back to that. In the body, we have div. Okay, what was the margin here? 10 pixel, all right? This is the 10 pixel margin. So if I try to increase this, what is happening? Not only my content is shifting right, but it is also shifting down. Why? Because this margin is getting applied on all the sides. It doesn't do that partiality, right? It applies margin on all the sides. So if I see in the box model, a 27 pixel margin is being applied on all the sides. Solution to that, you have to apply margin only on the left, right? So what can be done? Instead of margin, you write margin left. Okay, if I select this, what happened? My content did not move downwards, but it moved towards the right. And even if I keep on increasing, see what will happen? It will not move downwards, but will move upward, right? Okay, so what I'll do now next, but see, since I have written only margin left, what happened? The margin on the top went. So I can explicitly mention that margin here. Margin, since I have left something called as left, I will also have something called as top, right? And initially it was 10 pixel. Putting it to 10 pixel will set my data to, set my content to its original position, right? Now the sorted, right? I just have to increase the margin and it will go to the center. Problem. Are you seeing the problem here? The problem is it is moving towards, it is the left hand side is moving towards the right, but the right hand side is not actually moving towards the right. It is squeezing your data. Whatever information you're having on the screen, it is squeezing that. And with that, we will never come to center, right? We'll never come to center. What is the problem? What must be the problem? Let's see. Okay, so we'll go with the developer tools itself. And if you see, let's say if I select div, or let me select body. So if you see the body, let us go with the box model of body. Body header, div. Okay, just give me a minute. This is okay. Okay, just give me a minute. So the problem here is, let me close this. Yeah, so the problem here is I've set the width. Okay, and that width can be moved only to a certain extent, right? The problem is I'm getting some extra margin here on the right. Okay, some element is giving me that margin. Okay, what I need to do is I will have to change the width of the element. Okay, initially I've assigned the width. Okay, let us see that. Okay, in the inspect, in the body, we selected div. Okay, so div was having some width. That width can be seen from here. Okay, that div was having some width, and that width can be seen from here. This is the width. And now if I increase the margin, what will happen? This width will start decreasing. Okay, and then with that, I will never be able to put my entire data on the center. Okay, what we need to do there is, let us see.
So this part I'm not able to understand. Can you repeat?
Yeah, so I haven't done anything. See, the problem is, you're getting the problem. Are you getting the problem? What is happening with this document?
Not exactly. I think the margins are different on the either side, and uh, because of that, the content is not coming into the center part.
No, that is okay. See, what is happening here is, see, you understood what we are trying to do here. We are trying to make the entire content on the center.
Yes.
Okay, we're trying to make the entire content on the center. Okay, now let me see what I've done. Okay, now I got. Sorry. Okay, so see what is happening here. We are trying to do entire content on the center. For that, we are trying to add margin on the left so that my data, I mean, what is the whatever is the information, it should shift towards the right? That should happen. But if I try to do that, I mean, we have seen it here, right? Not in the body. Let's say div. This margin. Okay, this is the margin left. Okay, now if I try to increase the margin on the left is getting increased, no issues, but my actual information is not shifting towards the right. See,
Yeah.
right? With this, now if we follow this, if we keep on doing this with this procedure or with this way, we will never be able to shift it towards right. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Right. So the problem is, what is the problem here? See, if I select on the div, okay, if I put my cursor on the div, it shows a big margin on the right. Right? We have never given a margin, right? And whatever margin we initially gave, that we put it to 0. How is this margin coming? Okay. What is the problem? This can be seen through our box model. So if I select the box model, okay, and go back here, my box model says that your body, whatever body you are putting in, it should be 650 pixel. Okay. And my entire content of this HTML page, all the div tags, whatever is there, is within the body. Okay. Now, if the body is 650 pixels starting from left, I cannot move my data towards right. Getting? So this is the point. This the cursor you can see, right? This is the point where 650 pixels end. So you cannot move towards the right. Okay. So what should be done? What should be done? The solution to this would be to remove this width. Okay. Now, if I remove this width, what happened? My content towards the left got expanded, and then I got margin towards left. Okay. But solving one problem arise the other. What is that? Now my content is getting shifted from the left, is trying to come into the center from left, but it is not happening from the right. Okay. One can think of a very simple solution to that. The way I have given margin towards left, the same way I can give margin towards right. Correct. So let's do that. Okay, so we will do that for div. Okay, because here we are having 150, let's say 149 was 150 margin we are having. Same thing I'll add and add a margin towards right. Okay, and 150 pixel because I know the number on the other side is 150. Correct. Right. So if I do that, I get proper margin on both the sides, right? Correct. So my data comes to the center. Okay, but the problem is here I am not in the control to define the width of my content. Right? It will take up the entire. Did you get this problem? I'm not able to set the width of my content, which I wanted to be 650. Right? I wanted my entire content to be 650 and should appear on the center of the page. Okay, if I'm giving margin 150 pixel towards left and 150 pixel towards right, whatever remains would be the width. That is now how I should do, right? Even if my data is coming to appear on the center, it is not the way I want it to be, because I wanted the width of the data should be 650 pixel. Okay. If my width of the data should be 650 pixel, and let's say my screen width is 2000 pixel, okay, how much margin should I give on each side? Simple math. Can somebody answer this?
On both sides.
Yeah, how much?
625.
675, 25.
625.
625. Fine. All right. Okay. So, but this was when you knew the width of your screen, right? 2000 pixel. Okay. What if I am opening this application on a tab, and there the pixel would be, let's say, 1000. And if you're giving 625 margin on both the sides, how will the data appear?
So can we not give, sir, any kind of relative values like which will get adjusted according to the screen size instead of giving this like hard values like 650, 620?
Correct. Right. So we have to give some we have to give some relative value. That is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So correct. That is one way of doing. Other way, I'll tell you another way. What we'll do is, let's go back to the code. I mean, here only we can do that, but let's say we'll go with the REPL. Okay. So what happened? I will first have to remove this 650 pixel on body. Okay. 650 pixel on body has to be removed. Okay. And I'll entirely remove because that was the only attribute there, right? What I'll do is I'll set the width for div, not the body. Sorry, within the div, the width should be 650 pixel. Okay, 650 pixel is the width. Let us reload and see what is happening here. Okay, not evident here. Yeah, so this is the fixed width which I want. Okay, now I want this content to come in center without being in the position to look at what is happening on the with the screen width and all, without to be able to know the screen width. What I'll do is I will remove this margin, and since we want some margin on the top, what I'll put is I'll put margin top 10 pixel, because that was the margin we were having, right? And to put the margin such that it takes exactly in the center, I'll set it to auto. Okay, so this is one attribute. What this will do is, let's see what it does. Yeah, so it put my entire content on the center. Okay, put my entire content on the center. All right, without even knowing, okay, what was the width of screen. We don't have to worry about that. One thing happened here. What happened is the margin got overwritten, right? Let me see that also. So initially it became 0 in top. So here also, if you see, well, let me see, if I try to increase or decrease the size of screen, my content remains fixed with 650 pixel and it stays in the center. Okay, all right, now from here, let me take this from here and let me add it here. So what happens is there is a lot of precedence running with CSS. Yeah, so what happened, my content remains same now, aligned towards center. But what was happening initially, I was setting margin to auto. What was that doing? It was overwriting this. That's why I wrote it down. Okay, so now what this will do, it will give the margin on top the way I want, and will always keep my content towards center. Okay, and if you see, since we have attached style.css to all the pages, even if we shift, you will see that it will be applied to all the pages. Okay, right. Any doubt here? Anyone? Right. So this is how you can work with margins.
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, why these attributes applied to all the pages?
See, because we have created style.css, right? One CSS file, and we have attached that CSS file to all the same CSS file to all the HTML pages here, right? Here in index.html, then we have index2. Index2 also you'll see that, okay, we are using same style.css, and index3 also you'll see that you're using same style.css. So, and while creating the HTML pages, what did we do? We simply copy pasted the document object model and change the content. That's it, right? So whatever applies to one page will be applied to every other page. Got it? Yeah, Kapil.
Yes.
So you wanted to set width percentage? Definitely, you can do it. But the thing is, setting width percentage and also setting the width to be the exact value have to do some manipulation, right? So here looks like pretty. This setting the margin to auto looks a pretty simpler version to me, right? Okay.
So, sir, one question, like, say, for example, you have, you use, say, for example, two divs, okay? By default, these two divs are horizontally, like, stacked over one another, right?
Yeah.
One will be in the top, another will be in the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So, is there a way like these two div will come side by side?
Yeah, definitely. There is a way. So there is one broader term that is called as flexbox. Okay, that will come way ahead in the CSS. I don't think you will ever require, but the other way I'll show you just now. So what happens is there is a concept called as block elements and inline elements. All right. So if let me just go here, block elements and inline elements. What is a block element? A block element, even if you're writing your first initial A, first name A, let's say this this information, right? I. Even if this information I was written, it will still take the entire space till the end of the screen. Okay. That is called as block element that blocks its complete horizontal space. Okay, that is called as block element. And the other elements are inline elements. Inline elements, what do? They take up they take up elements side by side. Okay, block elements take up element one below the other because they require the entire space, whatever is there following to them, just beside them. But inline elements will take it side by side. So if you see this, I'll show you the difference. Okay, let me for a minute go to style.css and remove the entire styling. Okay, I've commented the entire styling. Let me comment this also. Okay, now let me go back to the document and reload it. Yeah, so this was the original element, right? Original document. Now if I go to inspect and if you go to div, see, you see the information, whatever is the content of div that that gets completed, that takes space up to the courses. After that, there is nothing, right? But still, it will take the width of entire screen. How to see that? You will be able to see it in the box model. So my screen is, let's say, 964 pixel. It's not 964, it will be more than that, but some margin is getting applied in the div as we saw initially, right? In the body, if we go to, yeah, so if you see here, 8 pixel margin is getting applied. All right, if I remove this, let me see if I can remove. Okay, cannot remove because this is default added. So if we neglect this margin for a minute, I will see that it is taking the entire space of the screen, this div.
Yes.
All right. This is therefore a div is therefore a block element.
Block element.
All right. Now you go to this link. All right. Now if you see this, oh, it's selected. Anyway, let me select from here. Okay, so if I go to modern application development, select. Okay, what is happening? Now if I go to the box model of that, it says auto. Why does it say auto? It will take only that much of space what is required by its content. Okay, that is the reason even if I wrote this href below that, it came towards the right. Right. So this is therefore called as inline element. It will allow other element to come if there is space. Okay, if I wrote modern application development 1 as a link, that took only the content part from here to here, right? Therefore, it was having all the space from here to here. So it will allow another only inline element to come. But the thing, that is the condition, right? It will allow other element, but only inline. Because inline will say, as we have studied about block, it says it requires space, right? So if it requires the space towards its right, it will also require the space towards its left. So a block element cannot come here. Okay.
Okay.
So one beside the other, you will have inline elements, and one below the other, you will have block elements. Okay. Now, if we go back to, let's say, let us talk about other elements also. What about H1? If you see H1, it is taking complete entire space. Okay. So along with div, H1 is also a block element. Okay. The other H2. Right? So H2 is also a block element. It is taking the entire space. Okay. So all the elements that take up the entire space horizontally throughout the screen, whatever is your width, are called as block elements. And let us talk about, let's say, paragraph.
Paragraph is also block probably, yeah.
Paragraph is a block element. What about image?
Image is inline.
Image is inline, right? Because it is only taking up that much space, and there is no space. There is some space towards the right. Okay. If I had added this link here, let's say, let me move this link above. Let me add just one more link. Okay, let us go to where is the image? That div, paragraph, image. Okay, this is the image. Okay. So let can I? Okay, I'm not able to change it here. Let's go back to the. We are at index.html. All right. So index.html, we have two paragraphs which were block. Then we have one image that is inline. Let me add an anchor tag again here. Okay, and let's say href whatever. So currently, if you don't want to lead anywhere, we can write hash. Okay, we don't want the link to go anywhere. And if let me write example. Okay, let me reload this. Okay, which page are we talking about? Index. So here only it should be. Just okay. What happened? I did not end my anchor tag, so everything came up as link after that. You see this blue. So ending of tag is very important. Yeah. So you see this example. It came just beside. Why? Because image was an inline element, and since there was space, it allowed another inline element, but it did not allow another block element.
Block element, yeah.
That is the reason this types of mobile development, it was written in H3, I guess. Yeah, H3. That is why it did not allow it to come on the right.
So is there any kind of inline element where I can insert a block element? Inside the inline element, I can see, say for example, like I want to use two divs, like which is side by side, but div is a block element. So is there a way to add it?
Yeah, you can do that. So one way is, see, for example, let us talk about block and inline element. What points did we discuss? A block element will not allow other element to come to its beside. Okay. An inline element will do that, but it will only do for another inline element. Okay. If I want two block element to come side by side, or two inline elements to come one below the other, I have to do some, hybridization. Okay. I need to do some hybridization. What I will do for that, I will simply go to my style. Okay. And I want this div. I mean two divs to come side by side. For that, some properties of div has to be changed to inline, right? So what I'll do, I'll go to the div element that I'm using in the file. For example, where is the file? Okay, element index.html, and I'll show you here. So here we'll select this div, and go to element.style, and there is something called as a display. Okay, in the display you see so many things, right? You need to do this inline block.
Okay.
Doing this display to inline block, what it will do, it will take some properties of inline and some properties of block, properties that you need. Okay, but still display, I mean the block element will take up its entire space. It will take up entire space. For that you will have to assign width. Okay, so if I do this display inline block, okay, and the next thing that I need to do is also give them width.
Width, yes.
Okay, let's say I put it as 200 pixel. If I put it as 200 pixel, let's see what happens. Okay, the problem is we are messing up with the document too much, but let's see. All right, no, the changes will not come here. I've done that. Okay, let's go to style, go to div, display. Okay, so you have to do inline, and the problem,
Inline,
see,
yeah.
one thing is this div is already a block element, right? Div is already a block element. If I change its display to inline, it will start behaving as an inline element. Okay, okay, it's display. Okay, display inline, and then if I put some width, say 200 pixel.
Sir, if we put two div tags inside two span tags,
two div tags inside, the thing is that div will take up the space. See, the thing, what will happen, span does not have any original space. Okay, span does not have its original, I mean width. It will take up that much width, whatever is there in the content. Okay, now if you put a div tag inside a span tag, what is the width the div tag will take? Entire width.
entire, right?
Then what will be the width of span tag?
Entire width.
Entire width. Right, that is the thing. So span tag does not have its width. Okay, so that is what is happening here. What is happening here, let's see. We are taking a div tag which is a block element. Okay, and we are making a div tag as an inline element. Correct? What is the content of div? Now forget about div being a block tag. It has become inline tag. Okay,
correct.
Correct. Now what is the content of the div? In the first div, my content is h1, which is a div, I mean which is a block tag. Okay, and in the second, my content is paragraph, which is again a block tag. Right? So that thing is not allowing my div to segregate into horizontal line.
Okay, coming side by side.
Yeah, it is not allowing. And since an inline element will take up space, whatever is the content, you cannot set the width. So that is why this thing is not working. Okay, so
but you are specifying the width 200 pixel, right? It has to wrap, right?
Yeah, but I'm specifying width 200 pixel of a block which is inline, right? That is not possible. Okay, so what I'll have to do, inline block. Okay, let us see if it works. It is not working, right? Why? Because I'm working on div. Okay, and the content inside div is block. Okay, so for example, if you want to do something like that, I mean two divs coming side by side, we will do it in some other file. Okay,
Okay, perfect.
let's say asp.html. Okay, so I've created another file, and do you know anything about this doc type HTML? This is the boiler code.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
so
yes,
it
yes.
happens in Replit. What you have to do is shift and 1. Okay, basically you have to print exclamation mark. So you go to shift and 1, it will show you this boiler template of HTML. Press tab and it will come
Okay.
up. So you don't have to write so many things.
Mhm.
Okay, now in the body I will write div. Okay, this is div, and I'm not sure if it works here, but okay, div. Then I'll give ID as div1 and just leave it as it is. Div1. Similarly, I'll create another div. So we are simply coming out of the topic, that is okay, but I'm just giving a concept, right? So that will be helpful to everyone. Okay, so we have created 2 div tags, and yeah, do div tag. Okay, let me keep some content here. This is a div1. This is a div2. Okay, now the problem is, how do you run this? How do you run this file? Okay, so what we need to do is we need to create a link on this file. Okay, Control C. Okay, what I'm saying is something extra. So, and what we need to do is we need to go to DISP. Okay, let's reload this. Yeah, so we have extra. Go to this page. Yeah, so this is 2 content, div1 and div2. Okay, we'll try to open this in new tab. Extra. Okay, to inspect. Yeah, so now in the body we see that there are 2 div tags and there is no content within, so hopefully we'll be able to add some styling. All right, so what I'll do is first, for things to appear properly, what I'll do is I'll add border. Maybe let's say 5 pixel solid black. Yeah, so since these are okay, where is this happening in body? Wait. Yeah, so in div it should happen. I don't want this to be in body. Let me reload it. Here.
So I think in the CSS you can write like for that div1 and div1 div2.
No, I have written it in the content, so that is why it is showing. See, this is the div one, no? It is written in the content that is being shown. Okay. So here also we apply, and same styling will be applied. Here also. So we now have 2 divs. Okay. Now what we'll do is here get display. We'll set it to inline. Okay. So what happens if I set the display to inline? Hey, somebody can is anybody unmute?
Unmute.
Yeah, somebody is unmuted. I could hear myself. Now it is fine. All right. Okay, so what happened now? If I change the display to inline, what happened? Now my div took only that much content, which its entire I mean the text is taking, right? So it is becoming now behaving like an inline element. Same thing I'll do with the div2. Display to inline. See, the moment you put the display to inline, both the div being body tag, I mean block tag came side by side, right?
Yes. Now, say for example, in div1, if we keep a paragraph P and div2 P, like still they will be like that, because P is a block statement, right?
Yeah.
Block.
So stay. Yeah. So what will happen? That paragraph being a div, I mean block element, it will take up the entire space. Okay. Now you want you want to make. I mean you want to have that flexibility so that you can add some things also. What will happen? There with the inline element, what is happening? It will allow element to come beside it. This is an advantage. What is a drawback? You cannot set width, because inline elements can take up their own width. You cannot set the width, right? Block element advantage, you can set the width. Disadvantage, it will not allow others to come. This is the hybrid that I was talking about. This is where now you want one advantage of div. The advantage of div is you should be able to set the width, and you should be able to have one div element beside the other. I mean block element beside the other, right? Now these are both the advantages taken from the block elements and inline elements. How do you get this both the advantages from I mean incorporated to these elements? You put the display to inline block.
Inline block.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about initially, right? Yeah, so inline block. What will it do? It will allow you to set the width of div. Okay, I mean the block, the element. Also, it will allow two blocks element to come side by side. Okay. So for this also I'll put display inline block. For this also I'll put display inline block. Okay. Now if you see, both are coming side by side. Now what you can do is you're talking about paragraph, right? So what you can do is you can simply set the width of this div element to be 200 pixel maybe. Once you set the div its width to be 200 pixel, you can add anything you want. Okay, let me add this styling to that page, because you want this permanent changes, right? So we will go to index dot here, but we'll have to create another file. So we'll, let's say again disp.css, okay, and then you paste it here. Now this is all about div, right? So div and close it, right? Now all this thing should
It's a
appear.
DIC. You wrote DIC.
Yeah, just a minute. So it is div. Okay, and secondly, now this file is created, we need to attach it, right? So I'll just take the, I don't want to remember this link, so I'll take it from here, copy, put it in this .html. Here within meta tag I'll add. We can change it to disp.css. Now let us reload. So if you reload this, we have to go to extra. So we're having two divs, 200 pixels each. Now what I'll do is we'll go back to, yeah, this is the one, right? So we'll go back to this div, and instead of div1, we'll add a paragraph. Now this paragraph can be added. Why? Because you have assigned a width. So that paragraph will not be able to take the entire width. Okay, this is
Okay, it will be within that width only.
para. Yeah, so this is the para. Reload it. Right.
Correct.
Yeah. Now the margins and all that is all coming, so you have to adjust with that. I mean, you have to set those accordingly. Okay.
Yes.
So if we see this, if you want to go to okay, let's go to modern application development one. That is where we have this extra link here. Yeah. So they want to set these two properly. So what we'll do is we'll see what is happening. Why this extra space? So go to body and div. Yeah. So it's having width 5 pixel solid black. Okay. And then if you go to box model, is 200 by 50, and the other one it's 200 by 18, right? It's not 200 by 50. That is the reason this one is bigger and this one is smaller. Okay, so there is no content. So this paragraph is taking the content. So this is taking that margin. All right, that is the reason we are having this two. So if I want to remove this extra space, what I can do, I can go back to display.html and we'll go back to this. And the thing is, I've created ID, right? If I go to this display.html, I've given them the ID, and I want only this thing to have 0 margin, right? So I can target them with ID. So it was hash div1 and margin 0 pixel. Right. Okay, what happened? Okay, oh, okay. Just give me a minute. Why is this happening? Let's see. So yeah, here it is. So this is happening because this margin is not for div, it is for para. So we go back here and remove this div1 and put only P.
Yeah.
It will reload. Yeah, so there is so many things you can do, right? So you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, so now it is fine. Okay, but you can put 2 block element and this element and stuff. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so since we deviated with the topic, but I hope you got how to add styling, right? If I go to index.html, I mean the other one, style.css, and I'll remove this. Yeah, and initially why it was not happening is pretty clear, right? Because initially we are having so many, the display was not correct. Okay, so yeah, this also we need to remove.
So sir, by any chance these replete repository is available for us or what?
Sure, I'll give you. You have to fork it. Okay, somebody asked, we can't add h1 tag in this inline block. Yeah, you can add any now. Now that your block is hybrid and takes the advantage of both inline and block element, you can tag any element within this block and nothing will change. All right, Charles. Okay. Yeah, so I messed up with design here. This was not so many things added, right? Something I did. Wait. So this is div1 width top.
So from line 8 you need to uncomment.
Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, this one.
Yeah, that part only.
This was the initial designing, right? Okay, now if this ends, this has to start from here. Okay.
This is the final one, right? Because margin equal to auto.
Yeah. But where does this end? Now it's fine. Yeah, div and then border. Yeah. Okay, so let us continue with this. Okay, now I have 3 div. I've added some styling. What I'll do is I want to I want to justify this content. Okay, I don't want this to appear like proper space from left and not the proper space from right. Okay, so what I'll do is, where is the content written? It is in the P, right? So I'll select all the P tags. Okay, and then I'll select the text align. Okay, and put it as justified. Justify. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so the content now became justified, right? Okay, this is one thing that we want to do. Secondly, now see, if now that we have borders, we will also have some attributes that are related to borders. Okay, what I'll do is, I don't want this this entire thing to be very sharp, right? I want to provide some blur, I mean blunt edges to all the four corners. Let's say, let me open this here. Okay, so you have any other session at 7? I mean 6?
No, sir. Today there is no session, but anyway, like I have to
8 o'clock we
drop
have
at 6
PDSA,
o'clock.
sir.
Sorry. Yeah.
No more session today.
Okay, fine.
No session, sir.
Okay,
You
fine.
can continue, sir.
Actually, yeah, I'll continue with whatever I want you to to understand from this part up to that point. Okay, there are some things that which I want you to do by yourself, the way we did in other sessions also. Like some of the things are done by you. The idea is to get how to do that. Okay, more than that, you don't have to mug up everything. Okay, now what next thing what I want to do is, let me show you some properties. I mean, one of the properties of the border. Okay, so let me open this on the new page and we'll go with the developer tools. Okay, so let me open this, inspect. Now what I want is, I want to blunt this edges, right? So I can select that particular body. It was this, because this is what I want to blunt. And then I'll go to, since I have border, I can use border radius. Okay, border radius. Okay, and then this can be added according to the pixel thing. Okay, so if I give 1 pixel, nothing will be shown, but if you see, if I increase the pixel, it will start becoming rounded. Okay, now the problem is, I want those blunt edges to appear only on the top left and top right. Okay, so what for that, I'll just add some attribute here, border radius, then top, then right. Let me see if this works. No, because this is not an attribute. So that is, see, this is how you experiment. So if there is not an I mean, then let us remove this border and put top, put right, put radius. Yeah, so now it is working, right? So this is the attribute, border top right radius 20 pixel. Now if this is the case, then there should be border top right, I mean border top left radius, which will do the work. So we will have edges only on the top. Okay, let's copy this. Right, so this thing appears on the this thing. Now the thing is, I have selected div here explicitly. I want this thing to appear only on the dat div in the permanently in my styling, right? So I'll select this part, go back to index, go back to style, and then what I'll do is I will select it with ID, because I want it to appear or to get affected only on this div. Okay, so I guess it was a div 1. No, it was header. What is the ID of that div? Yeah, it's header with capital H. So I'll go back to style, right, capital H, header. Now we are addressing an ID, right? So we'll use hash, then header, then add the thing. So we'll add this here. Okay, so border top right radius 20 pixels. Yeah.
Sir, border top radius will work. Will it be shorthand for both left and right?
No. It won't work. So shorthand is for 2 or 3. It is not for all. Okay, but it is not working here. See, I don't know why. Let us see.
Header H is not capital.
Okay, fine. Right. So so this is one of the properties of border that we might use. Similarly, what I want is this edges to appear on here, right, on the bottom. So let us use this only. Now we don't need to go back to developer tools and stuff. So here we'll use hash. This time it is footer. You have to check if it is capital or small. So it is small. Go style by. Now it is border bottom. So top we don't want now, we want bottom. Okay, let us see. Yeah, so now my website appears much better. Okay, now the thing is, one more thing that we can observe here is, let us open it in the main site. Okay, one thing that we observe here is, if I go to, so this is AppDev1. If I go to DBMS, it will have very different image. If you go to AppDev2, it will have very other different image, right? So it should actually look like this. It should actually set in this way. Okay, so what we need to do is, I'll simply go to inspect. So one thing that you can observe here is, for every change that I want to do, I'm going to inspect, selecting the element, making the change here, looking if it is perfectly fine or not. If that is fine, I'm selecting that, I mean, copying all the styles that I've added here into my original file with proper selector, right? So that is what I've been doing. Okay, then just give me. Yeah. So now we'll do that with same thing with the image. So we need to know the proper image, right? So what I'll do is, I'll take this image as a reference. So I'll select the image. Yeah, so if you see, the dimension I'm getting is 626 and 352. Okay, 626 and 352. Or what we can do, okay, anyways, so what we can do, just 626 and 352, we can set the width and height of the other images also, right? So what we need to do, just go to the image tag, okay, and then set the width and height. So we'll go back to style, take image. What was the width? 626. Width 620, let's say 620 pixel, and height 350 pixel. Okay. Now if I do this, it will happen with all the images, right? So for this, okay, let us open here. So no change here, but if you go to, yeah, so here it is appearing better, and DBMS was the problem, right? That should appear better. Yeah. Now again, the problem is, I want to change this. Okay, so what I can do, I can go to inspect, and with this selector tool, I can simply select the image, and width I can manage from here. This looks fine, right? So 649 or 650 pixel. Okay, we need to make that change there in the replit. Is the replit? Yeah. So this has to be changed to 650 pixel. Once doing this, this will apply to all the images, right? So now the images are in in a better shape, right? Here also, and in the other page also. Okay, so we have set the information. This is all properly arranged now. We have set the image. Now there is only one thing that I want to do is add some pseudo selectors, okay, or selectors that will behave differently, or the elements that will behave differently when you depending on their state. Okay, depending on their state. All right, so what will happen currently, if I'm only selecting, if you see this, okay, it shows me, okay, this is the link, you have to go, and that finger appears, which shows me, okay, this is the link, you can type, click on it. Okay, what we'll do is, we'll just but the color of the text and all doesn't change, right? So what we'll try to do is, we'll add the change in color so that its color changes. Okay, so but it should change only if I come on that. Okay, if I come on that, let's see. That happens with anchor tag because we are using anchor. Okay, but the thing is, I want it to, want it in a different color only when I put my mouse on it, only when I, or in other words, only when I hover on it. That is the reason we do it hover. Okay, so this should happen only when you hover. Okay, so if I select the color, let's say put it red. Okay, and background color blue, not blue, yellow. Okay, let's see what happens. Sorry, I reloaded it. Yeah. See, if I put my mouse there, it becomes red with color and background color becomes yellow. Now this is happening only when I hover, right? So these are called as pseudo selectors, even on DBMS. So this will happen with all the links because I've selected link explicitly, anchor tags, correct? All right. Questions here, sir? How those clickable images cards are designed? Okay, so the thing is, clickable images are very easy to generate. First way, you instead of see what I'm having here, let's say in the REPL, what I'm having as the content, href modern application development 2, right? So this text will become your clickable text, what will be appearing there, right? What if I have a very small image? Okay, let's say we'll have a very small image from somewhere. Let me write button. Okay, use image, not this button, button icon. All right, so button icon, right? Yeah, let's use this button. Okay, if there is no background, it should appear nicely. So we'll save this image on the desktop as button. Okay, so now this button is saved. Let me go back to REPL and I'll add a new anchor, let's say A with href. Okay, and then setting that href to, let's say, www.google.com. okay, sorry, here google.com. all right, so now I've created an anchor tag. Now it depends what should I put as a text of that. So instead of putting that as a text, I'll put it as an image, right? So for that I need to first load the image. I'll upload file from the desktop. This is the button, right? Yeah, so you have got button.png, and now within this button we'll write image. So we'll take this thing from here. Okay, so you have to return as a part of image tag, right? This should come as a part of image tag, and then we don't need alt and on, but we need to close this anchor tag, right? Yeah, so anchor tag close, and then we need to change the link of this. So it was button.png, right? Correct. Let's see what happens. Where is it, by the way? Index. Yeah, so yeah, very big button. All right, but if you click on this, you'll go to some site. It should go to Google. Just give me a minute. Okay, com1, no, that's why. Com1. So this is your clickable button. You see here, still not there. Wait. href. Okay, let me write in a more proper way. https://
Sir, you had to reload the page, I guess.
Okay, fine. Yeah, very large button. Let me change it. Wait. Should be visible at. Yeah, so let me increase that also. Now, if you see this button is coming anywhere, right? It is not completely coming in proper way. This is because the image, anchor, everything is inline. So it will take the space as they have this, I mean, as their dimension permits, right? We will have to set them in proper, I mean, proper blocks, set its display, how it should display, set its position, and then it will come in the proper way, right? Currently, just I'm trying to add a clickable image. Okay, so we'll go back to style.css, and this I guess we'll have. Okay, the problem is I don't want to add width and height to all the images. Okay, this is happening. Why we got this much big button? Because this is the width and height we have added to image. So what we can do is let us go back to our HTML, and this image, here I will give an ID because I want to target that. Okay, BU button or button 1. Okay, because I don't want to change with all already existing tags of HTML. All right, so let us go to a style.css. Okay, paste what we had and then paste it within the button. So it was button 1. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so I'm now I have a small button. Now let's see if it leads us to Google. Now it does, right? So this is how you put a clickable image.
Sir, quick question. Would it be better to kind of specify the height and width inside the image tag only, or do for every small element? Is it a good practice to go into CSS and change it?
No. So if there is only one, see this one button, I will never touch this button later. Okay, so you can set this height and width inline.
Right.
Yeah. So if there is only one or two style which will hardly be altered, just set it inline.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sir, one question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, like you said the size of image to be fixed, sir. Sir, can we not do it as auto, sir? Because when we use in our mobile or tab, so this image size will be very big.
No. So the certain level of what we say responsive website, our what we say our browsers also provide. So if you see this, now the responsive, this dimensions responsive, right? So if I change this, see it is getting adjusted accordingly. So certain level of responsiveness our browsers also provide. Okay,
that
you can definitely
you
can. So instead of setting the width and height to some exact values, there are other other units, right? So currently what our unit are we working with? Pixel, px. Okay, but there are other units like rem, em, vh, percentage, right? I want you to explore these things. Okay, but the unit generally we work with is pixel, px. Okay, but if you want your things to adjust accordingly, and if you see that nice hover effect is coming, is the yellow also here, so this is nice. Anyway, so if you want to go with adjustable size and things of a particular element, you have to go with other elements like rem, em, vh, okay, all these things. Then
The
percentage
images
is
that
special.
that are used in website, or they are used in these types only, or any other?
I would say they generally they create the image. For example, if I want to create a button, its size would be in a shape, or I mean, it is created in a way it is a button. The size are pre-adjusted. Okay. Later on, when when these buttons, I mean, these images are embedded, then they come up and then they set the image, I mean, the dimensions later. But the thing is, the just for the resolution sake, they create the button of, let's say if I'm using a button 50 by 50, they'll create a button 50 by 50. Okay. Nowadays the frameworks that we are using are not by using images, right? So there are codes, snippets which create the button in a way they look very realistic. That's what Bootstrap does, right? So if you want to add a button using Bootstrap, the way Bootstrap create button is not using images and all. It will have its own internal styling, right? So why we use Bootstrap? We don't want to style to that extent. I mean, we don't want to use this one by one. Okay. Rather, just use it. I mean, just retrieve it from the Bootstrap library and use it. How is Bootstrap created? The basis remains a CSS only. I mean, they have done it in so detailed that we have to just use it because we don't want to go to that detail. For example, this run button, this is not an image, right? So this is happening by all the stylings. We can do this. For example, see, this is again a hover kind of thing, but the way this this dark green is getting to light green is there is some delay. I mean, in a delayed manner, right? So that can be designed. CSS is vast. If you ask me how to do that, I don't know. I'll have to go through resources. Okay, but currently this is a good practice. Just use buttons, images. You can create your own, right? Use like paint and stuff. You can create your own button, use them. Okay. All right. So I guess this is probably what I wanted to show in this session. Okay, I haven't gone into much of the details, but I hope whatever I've shown is somewhere useful to you. This will also help you in week 2 CSS assignments. Okay. And we are not grading it for the reason that everyone has its own way and extent of styling, right? So I hope this session helped you. Anything else should we discuss? Okay, so what I'll
assignment is not graded. CSS assignment.
Week 2 CSS assignment is not graded.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't have to submit it, right? And anyway, if you wanted, you could not because the deadline is already there. Anyway, week 2 CSS assignment, we had never opened it for portal. Only
Sir,
HTML.
The HTML assignment, I've done this before and I'd scored 100 on this. I don't know what I seem to have missed. The code was mostly the same, I guess, from the last.
Okay. Okay, so there may be some unclosed tags. You saw that what will happen if I keep a tag unclosed, right?
Yes,
everything that follows will become the link, right? So something like that may have happened.
Sir,
there can be multiple, so there can be multiple reasons, and you wouldn't know that, okay, this was the mistake. But if when we'll give the report, you'll understand.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll understand and you know, okay, this was the issue.
And sir, I did not see a link for CSS assignment submission, whether graded or ungraded. There was only HTML assignment submission link.
That's what. Yeah. So CSS assignment was not to be submitted anywhere. The question statement was given just for you to practice and do it with your own pace. Okay. It was not to be submitted anywhere. Only HTML assignment has to be submitted.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay, fine. So
Sir, one question.
Yes.
When we do on the terminal, because in the lectures, a screencast is recorded in the, I think, Ubuntu or perhaps Linux.
Okay.
In Windows, on the command prompt, Windows 10, in the command prompt, the window comes with the win, C/win. This folder is not running the Python directly, writing the Python 3, then it is not running the command. And how to do that?
What exactly
In
is the
Windows.
problem? By the way, I have given the REPL link to this page. Okay, so if you open this REPL link and poke it, you'll have the entire content.
REPL is working.
No. On the other note, the thing that we were working, no, for that REPL link. Yeah. So you go ahead with your question now.
Sir, I guess he's
REPL.
asking about setting the path for Python in Windows.
I am asking different thing. I am just asking.
Okay.
A screencast is being recorded in the Linux. I want to just copy and revise that. Then the Linux, how to do in the, we have to revise in the Replit, because Replit will not take that command, no?
It will be, because see here, you have this shell. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So here you have this shell, right? Shell.
Okay.
Here you give the commands.
Okay. In the shell, we will do that screencast of Linux, then it will work here.
Yeah, it will work here.
Okay. But
right. So the command Python 3, I mean Python app.py, all these commands can be given here. Whatever is given in the shell there.
Okay, that one will work here. Okay, fine. Okay, I will try it.
Yeah. Try it. There will be hardly any difference.
Why it is not working in Windows? Suppose it's normal. I'm not using Replit at all.
It will work in Windows also.
How?
See, what exactly you're doing? That is
I'm
what?
just window command prompt. It comes C colon backslash win. This is the directory comes by default in the command line.
Okay.
Then how to go where this Python will work?
Okay, fine. So see, Python will be installed in your system. So you don't have to go to that library where Python is installed. You don't have to go. For example, let's say I am this is my folder.
The command
right?
is not working on that, no, sir. I'm typing Python 3. Python 3. It is not showing. The commands are not.
Okay, it should show actually. If it is not shown, you have to. You have to add that path to the directory wherever you're using. No, that path you have to add. Okay, I'll show how to do that on Replit. Not on Replit, sorry, on the discourse. Something has to be written.
Yeah, I have shared in on the discourse also.
Okay, maybe I had not gone through. See, for example,
I have given the screen.
Okay, for example, see, if you want to open command prompt here on this directory, this PC studies, my work, app dev, right? Week 3. Just select this directory, click on whatever I've clicked, write CMD and press enter. It will open command prompt in that directory.
CMD. After CMD, command prompt comes. And what to do after that? Just I want to know that. Okay,
what do you have to do? Tell me.
I'm just typing the commands, whatever given in the screencast, but it is not working.
Yeah, but see, if you are having, for example, if you want to run a Python file, there has to be a Python file in this directory.
Yeah. Then how to do?
You create a Python file here. For example, create new. It will be initially you can create a text document. Okay, and then let's say I'm creating an app.py. Okay, just say app.
Are you sharing your screen?
Yeah,
your
I am.
Screen is not showing. Your screen is not visible. Not visible.
Okay, wait. 1 minute. I am okay. So are you able to still see the Replit? Is it?
Yeah, Replit is visible.
Okay, fine. That is because I was sharing only Replit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So see, this Vinod has given a link, right? This is to add path to environment variables. This is where we talk about adding path. Maybe that directory where you're working is not, added to the paths where Python interpreter will work. Okay,
yeah,
that can be the case.
That I am thinking how to how to take that Python into that directory.
Yeah, so you go to this link, you will find how to do that. It is actually
where
done
is the
through
link?
adding. Yeah, tell me.
Yes, in the chat. Link is in
Yeah,
chat.
link is in the chat.
Help desk. Okay.
Yeah, helpdeskgeek.com. Add Windows path environment variable.
Okay, thank you. I will try it. Okay.
Yeah, you try it. If this issue doesn't resolve, I would recommend you to
then
take
I will share in the
screenshots.
Discord.
Yeah, you take the screenshots of what issue you're getting, right? Of whatever the command prompt and all. Take the screenshot and put it on Discord.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Also try with Python, because Python 3 in Windows, you don't have to write Python 3, only write Python.
Okay. Python 3 is not okay. I will try with Python.
Yeah. Because whatever install, it will run that. So generally we install Python 3 only. So you run Python.
Because we are facing these problems frequently, not with these codes or like that. These are not difficult, but such type of things which is not working, what is running in the background, we are not understanding. So where Python comes, where these tags are coming.
Okay, fine.
So these are being saved. This is the problem, sir.
Okay. So all these things will get clear gradually. Don't worry.
Yeah, let me go to the help desk.
Yeah. So
the whole structure of the files, where it is being saved, where it is being taken, where is the command, we are not understanding that.
Okay, so see, you don't have to go through, in the command itself, it will show you all the commands possible that you can give, right? Just watch 1 or 2 videos on command line interface and it will be clear.
Okay. These videos are outside, no? Not in the, not in the course content.
All right. Yeah, got it.
Okay. Let me go to this help desk.
Yeah, sure. And one more reply to, sure. Yeah, and also talking about the images, right? The button-like images. This is simple HTML and CSS, right? There are so many front-end libraries in JavaScript. For example, the one you will be working with in the next run, right? AppDev2, that is Vue.js, right? There we talk about mostly front-end. So more animations and things can be thought of when you talk, when the JavaScripts pitch in. Okay, so all these things are the, for example, you give Zomato food card and stuff, right? All these things are not created by simple HTML. Various frameworks are used, front-end frameworks, UI.
Yeah, that is, everywhere it is being assured that after 2 or 3 weeks, we will be able to do that. But assignment is in the first week and second week, no, sir. That is also required to do.
Correct. No, this was replying to one of the queries on chat. Yeah.
Okay.
No. On the chat, I saw one of the queries, so that I was replying.
Okay, fine.
Right. So you can take another thing. I've given the link to REPL. You can fork it and see what code we have written here throughout these 2 sessions, and then maybe you can build on it, add some things, and understand things. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, fine. All right. So, okay, I guess that should be enough for today. In the next session, Solve with Instructor will work with Jinja 2 mostly.
What will be discussed?
Jinja 2, right? Week 3 content is mostly about templating, right?
Yeah, Jinja 2, right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, fine. So I'll call it a day here, right? We'll stop the session here. I hope you got some idea of styling CSS and stuff. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Good one, sir. Session is very good, sir. Very, very explanatory.
Okay.
Thank you. But we are not from the coding background. That's why we are facing such.
No issues. So yeah, it takes time, but you will be in the race. Don't worry.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right, fine.
Thank you.
Good day, everybody.
Good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.